Imagine a world where public funds were used to fund an institution that only white people could attend, then apply that same energy to this situation. Can anybody imagine that? That's great. Can anybody imagine public funds used to support an institution only white people could attend? That's crazy. Could you imagine public funds used to support a park that only white people could go to? Or to maintain a pool where only white people could swim? Could you imagine that? That's nuts. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled.
About this. This is not a black and white issue. This isn't a political issue. It's not a Democratic or Republican Party issue. It's not about that. It's a morality issue. We're here. We've been here for 4 or 5 years. Commencement, we should have someone who's going to celebrate us. How can someone who goes against everything that we stand for and believe in, morality-wise, how can that person uplift me on my day of stepping into the real world? How can I don't feel supported. It's nothing that she can say that will make me feel encouraged to step out into this society. A society where the America and the country that I believe in, she don't have that same agenda. And I want to say something, being conservative is not the issue. That's all right. We all have our own political views. But she's explicitly said, I am a Trump conservative. Okay, if you believe in Trump, you support pedophilia, you support bigotry, you support racism. What else? Pro police, the same police that's killing our people, the same, and also she also supports ICE. She also would like to have, because I'm going to say a concentration camp, because that's what it is. But that's not what they're calling it. But y'all want to bring one of those here to our state, to South Carolina. That's what y'all believe in. We don't believe in that. South Carolina State has a history of being activists and being proactive and standing up and believing in what's right.
Now, that was a student at South Carolina State University protesting Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette's potential commencement address. Now, I've mentioned this before on the channel. South Carolina is one of my places, and I want to give a shout out to my dad for putting me on to this particular story. My mom didn't say anything. She happens to be a South Carolina State alum, because she probably didn't trust what I was going to say. But I knew once I got this email from Della, oh, it had to be addressed. I'm reaching out because what is unfolding at South Carolina State University has now become a much larger than a commencement speaker disagreement and deserves national attention. After students protested Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette's scheduled commencement appearance, Evette publicly dismissed the backlash by referring to students and supporters as a woke mob and leftist protesters treating legitimate student concern as if it were political foolishness. Students, alumni, and community members stood firm, and South Carolina State University ultimately rescinded her invitation. Now, in direct response, 9 South Carolina House Republicans have signed a formal letter requesting that no state funding for South Carolina State University be included in the second version of the state budget. Their exact words, "We are hereby requesting that no funding for South Carolina State University be included." So in plain terms, Black students at South Carolina's only public HBCU exercised dissent, won their protest, and Republican lawmakers are now openly discussing financial punishment against the institution. This is no longer campus drama. This is political retaliation with national implications for Black student speech and HBCU autonomy. Shout out to Della Davis Butler, and you are absolutely correct. This is no longer just campus drama.
What's going on? This your boy Hot Rod, rolling for the home of Muddy Waters. I don't know if you all know, but recently, South Carolina State University has been in the news. And it's because their president decided to extend an invitation to the Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina, who's running now for Governor of South Carolina. She's a conservative, MAGA conservative. That's the difference. She's, not just a conservative, she's a MAGA conservative. The student body basically stood up and let their voices be heard. They went to the administration and let them know that This is not something that we agree with or that we want on our commencement day after 4 years of hard work. This young lady right here made an old coon proud, because when the president asked her a leading question as to why don't you guys want her here, she could hear in that what he said, that he was trying to lead her into basically back her into a corner where it's going to be hard to wiggle out. She heard that. She said, this is not because she's a conservative or a MAGA. She could be a liberal or anybody else. But if her viewpoints and what she stands on doesn't align with what we see is motivation to carry us out into this world, why would you invite her here? Why do we want her here? They got out and peacefully protested. Once they peacefully protested, the lieutenant governor then called them an angry mob, a woke mob. These young people let their voices be heard. And when they did, this president, seen right here, rescinded that invitation for her to come and speak. Look, students, we are very proud of you.
Now let's go back to the beginning, shall we? South Carolina State receiving backlash over planned graduation speaker. Students at South Carolina State University are pushing back against the school's plan to invite Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette, a Republican candidate for governor, to be next month's commencement speaker. Ho, ho, ho. I got a first question. Did you say candidate for governor? Candidate for governor. So what was this, a campaign event? Is that what this was? We doing equal time for all the candidates, or I'm confused. The administration at HBCU in Orangeburg has told student leadership of the plan, even though it has yet to formally announce the decision or finalize the speaker. A school spokesperson said the university had no further comment. The governor's office confirmed that the May 8th commencement ceremony is on Evette's calendar. It has led to an online petition, which as of 2:30 p.m. Tuesday had more than 2,600 signatures. Come again? Let's check it right now, shall we? Oh, snap. We up past 24,000. That is quite a woke mob. Oh, we'll get there. Pamela Evette's political positions and affiliations have raised significant controversy in South Carolina, especially among communities who feel marginalized by current state policies, the petition says. Many students, families, and alumni are concerned that her presence at one of our most significant events does not reflect the values we collectively hold dear. Student government president Zaria Tucker posted on Facebook that Evette's support of President Donald Trump and his stances are contrary to the culture of HBCUs. Specifically, Tucker posted about efforts to roll back diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Evette's called for a facility in South Carolina to house immigrants wanted for deportation, and defending Trump after he posted a video that depicted former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as monkeys. Okay, I've heard enough. I've heard enough. And the immortal words of every black gathering, get together, cookout, etc. Who mans is this? Who invited her to come speak? That's my question. That's my question. Because none of these things is news to the people that invited her to come speak. Yet they thought that was a good idea, in addition to the fact that she's currently running for governor. Whose plan was this?
Black people didn't want to go outside to protest or join the No Kings, so they said, you know what, we're going to send Pam Evette to South Carolina State University to speak at their commencement to get outside. At least that's my conspiracy theory. Okay, probably not much of a conspiracy, but because now black folks, them young black people, rightfully so, I get it, are pissed off protesting outside. They gonna find a way. They gonna find a way to get niggas. See now if something were to rile up and happen because these young people are rightfully angry that they would send something like that to come speak at an HBCU commencement. You know, like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And I bet, I hope not, but if I were a betting man, something is going to happen to rile at that shit. Because they out there, you know what I'm saying? Rightfully so. They have every reason to. But we wasn't taking the bait. And they said, we got to rile these somehow. We got to get them. We got to get them. Right? And I think that might be the sparks that, you know what I'm saying, that gets us. But I hope I'm wrong. But it's just mighty, like, it's like, why would you do that? Why would the administration of that college do that? Gotta ask yourself that.
I mean, that's a good enough reason as any. It certainly makes more sense than thinking that anything out of her mouth would jibe with the values of the students, faculty, or their parents. And if it didn't jibe before, oh boy, you wait. South Carolina Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette responds to protests over her being the SC State commencement speaker. Evette first responded on social media Tuesday night with a video. Let's be clear, facts trump feelings in the real world. President Donald Trump and conservatives have done more for HBCUs than any administration in history. Here's my response to the protest today at SC State University.
What? What?
Okay, before we even get to the video, how you gonna put down facts trump feelings in the real world and then lie about the facts? President Donald Trump has done more for any, you literally put facts trump feelings and then some nonsense. SC State, what would you grade that paper? I mean, that wasn't even 10 lines and she would have got DQ'd. But you asked her to be commencement speaker? Something ain't right.
While I was at the White House today, I heard about what's happening on the campus of SC State University. Let's be clear, facts trump feelings in the real world. President Trump and conservatives have done more for HBCUs than any administration in history. I must be doing something right because woke mobs are coming after me for being a champion of eliminating radical DEI scams on college campuses. So bring it on. Just like President Trump, I'll never back down or bend a knee to the woke radicals. I'm ending DEI on campuses once and for all. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a lot more to say about this later. In the meantime, I look forward to celebrating commencement with the students and faculty at SC State.
Oh boy, that is a whole lot to respond to. And first, let me say, the next time you're going to read a statement, you might want to look at the camera. Or at least get you some kind of prompter situation where you can make it look like you're not reading a statement. That's my number one. Number two, woke mob, was it? Woke mob?
When a white woman gets angry, oh, poor Sally, oh my gosh, poor her. She's just having such a bad day. Oh my gosh, she must be going through so much. Oh my gosh, poor her. When a white man gets angry, he's stressed, he hit his breaking point, he's having a bad day, it's mental health. But when a black woman gets angry, she's ghetto, she's ratchet, she's loud, she's aggressive, she's masculine, she's too much. When a black man shows anger, hurt, frustration, grief, or pain, now he's violent, now he's dangerous, now he's a threat, now people clutch their bags, people get scared, people cross the street. Now people reach for excuses to justify why they never wanted to understand him in the first place. And do not tell me it's about behavior. Do not tell me it's about tone. Do not tell me it's about how it's expressed, because the same emotions coming out of different bodies get labeled completely differently depending on the skin they're housed in. That is conditioning. That is not a coincidence, and that is not fair. Black pain is not allowed to be human pain in this society. It's only allowed to exist if it's quiet, palatable, digestible, and non-threatening to everybody else's comfort.
So to whoever's plan this was, not only do you have everything that disqualified her as commencement speaker prior to this, but her characterizing students voicing their opinion as a woke mob, which we know to be nonsense, because if all opposition was a woke mob, y'all wouldn't be running to gerrymander the midterms now, would you? Huh? It's kind of hard to talk about radical leftists when you're moving like you know how badly you gonna get dog walked in November. Those two don't go together. And could she have spoken from any further up Trump's clown suit than she did. I almost didn't hear you. It's almost like we don't even need a lieutenant governor of South. Does she have an actual personality of her own? I'm confused. These leftist protesters are coming after me because they know I will not bend the knee or compromise on South Carolina's conservative values. She's a Trump conservative. She's against DEI. She supports ICE. Guilty as charged. Bring it on. I guess not. The left hates Trump. They hate conservatives. They hate anything that doesn't fit their woke ideology. Well, they're going to really hate my speech because it does the thing they hate the most, telling the truth. See you at commencement. You sure about that? Hey, Trump. Hey, Trump. She copying off your paper. She copying off your paper. She don't have no personality, stances, platform, nothing of her own. In fact, I think you should take her check. You should take her check. And she certainly shouldn't be speaking at no schools. That's nasty plagiarism, what I'm looking at.
We're not a mob. We're just aware of what we stand for as a historically black college and university.
She's going against what these same exact students are here for.
President Trump, the governor, and I have done more for our historically black colleges and universities than anybody in the history of the state. I think that what's happening here is that you have students who are well educated who don't know the facts.
It sounds like they do know the facts. It sounds like they know the facts quite well. And somehow the administration that set all of this in motion didn't. Well, they know now.
I've made the decision to rescind the invitation to the lieutenant governor to speak at your commencement.
Now, I want to shout out all the students whose work went into this moment. I just want to temper things just a little bit because I can't get but so excited for we undid the thing we never should have did in the first place. I can't get but so excited about that. Hey, I got good news for you. I stopped stealing from out the cash register. Hey, I sure enough did. I sure enough did.
I'm standing at the front gates of South Carolina State University. In case you don't know what's going on here, the students have raised their voices in opposition to the announcement of their commencement speaker. Let's be clear. Commencement needs to be a day for the students. It's a time of celebration, of joy, accomplishment, and new beginnings, not politics. But that's not what's happening here. I'm here to support these students and the exercise of their First Amendment right. At the heart of that right is protest. Again, let's be clear. Commencement should be for the students. Let it be their day.
Well, that was good to hear that they got some support from within the state. Wait a minute. Are you running for governor? Hold on a second. Let me look him up. Billy Webster. You ain't slick. You ain't slick. I appreciate the support, though. You can't take that back. Typical. HBCU cancels MAGA lieutenant governor's speech after she calls student protesters woke mob. Then she tries to play the victim. What? Trump. She copying you bar for bar. Attack them and then play the... I'm saying.
I love the poorly educated.
The Karen's going to be furious that Pamela is out here engaging in this type of behavior. South Carolina State President Alexander Conyers confirmed on social media late Wednesday he had uninvited Evette. We are grateful to Lieutenant Governor Evette for her willingness to engage with our students and for her time and consideration in accepting the invitation. Our intent was to provide students with a speaker whose professional journey could offer practical insight and inspiration as they prepare to enter the workforce. Conyers said they made the decision, quote, out of an abundance of caution. What part of a woke mob and radical leftists made it look like she was willing to engage with students? What part of that made it seem like she was willing to engage with students? You talked about her professional journey. Put a pin in that. We're gonna come back around to that. And also the fact that you said you made the decision out of an abundance of caution. See, I understand that you have to couch things in order to not bring shame upon people, just in case you might need them later. You can't tell it exactly like it is. But an abundance of caution makes it sound like it was a dangerous scenario, something other than the fact that she was trash. You could have gone with that. You should have gone with that.
He's right, you know.
Evette condemned the decision on X. The fact that a speech had to be canceled for credible safety threats is exactly why we cannot give up the fight and end indoctrination and DEI on campuses once and for all. I told you. An abundance of caution. I told you. You didn't even have to write the whole, they got an emoji trash can. You could have just put a bunch of those. The root problem is professors who gin up feigned outrage at the detriment of their students who they should be teaching to think critically in tenure now. Oh, so it was the professor's fault. It was the professor's fault, because certainly we can't give the students credit for thinking critically. They're far too brown to give them any kind of agency unto themselves. So it must be the professors that had put that, man, I don't know where y'all would go next. Is it the clothes? Is it something in the clothes? It's the culture. It's the culture. It's the culture. You know, I think a lot of those kids really wanted to hear me, and then they went and reflected that they had no fathers in the home, and then they changed their mind. That's what got them all messed up. That's what got them messed up. Y'all literally will go to any lengths to take no accountability whatsoever for the decisions that you have made and the ramifications for other people. It is wild to think that you could take these stances up till now and think the reaction would be anything other than what it is. Unless this was the plan all along. Which brings me back to the original, whose idea was this? I'm looking at you, SC State. It takes a special kind of confidence to call student protesters a woke mob and then act like the victim when the HBCU decides to revoke your mic privileges. You call that confidence? Is that what you call that confidence? I'd have gone with delusion. Or just put all the emoji trash cans. Just put like 3 or 4 of them right there. Oh, we knew this was coming. 9 SC Republican lawmakers want to defund SC State after Evette commencement reversal. The letter calls the university's decision to drop Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette as a commencement speaker shameful and demands a full funding cut in the next budget. Representatives Gil Gatch, Thomas Beach, Jackie Terabile, Sarita Edgerton, Josiah Magnuson, John McCravey, Melissa Lackey Amaris, and Cal Forrest Jr. wrote some nonsense. I just wanted to make sure you knew them all by name. Now let's deal with this part first, because there's no need to grapple with the grounds that are being offered up to defund South Carolina State University when you've already tried it before. In other words, we know that you're looking for a reason and therefore have no need to take this excuse seriously.
Now that Pamela Evette cannot speak at South Carolina State University, she's trying to defund them through the House of Representatives. I just want to acknowledge the fact that I'm probably not the best person to talk about this. But I know I need to bring awareness to this because this isn't the first time that the House of Representatives in South Carolina has tried to do this for absurd reasons. I also just want to point out that these two things cannot be compared because one was racially charged, the other is just absurd. But the House of Representatives trying to defund colleges is not new. 9 House representatives in the South Carolina State Congress is trying to defund the South Carolina State University because what the students did was shameful. The students did nothing illegal. They protested peacefully as anyone should and has the legal right to because of our Constitution. In this school year, the House of Representatives were trying to defund Clemson. Our president wrote a statement when George Floyd was murdered. He didn't write one when Charlie Kirk was shot. Because of that, the House of Representatives were trying to defund Clemson University and take away some of our budget. They could get by, but what they're trying to do to the South Carolina State University, they can't get by. They have already been defunded previously because of the person that Pamela Evette supports, aka our president, who cut DEI, which cut funds.
One more time for those in the back.
They have already been defunded previously because of the person that Pamela Evette supports, aka our president, who cut DEI, which cut funds.
That's right. They've already been defunded under Trump. Which once again brings me back to whose idea was this? Hey, Patricia. Hey, didn't you say facts over feelings? Facts over feelings, right? We got the facts. Oh, they hurt your feelings?
This isn't like an opinion. This is a stated fact because that happened. Because South Carolina State University and Clemson and all of these other public colleges are state funded, they have the right to control the budget for schools, but does that mean that it's ethical or moral? Absolutely not. What those students did were not shameful. What those students did was patriotic, because they're using their rights in the most patriotic way and being peaceful about it. I think a lot of people that look like me just immediately assume, and that is what's systemically wrong with our country. Not only that, but the buzzwords that get used to talk about African American students compared to white students is completely different.
And I feel like that point should be cemented. The fact that students are using protests, their First Amendment rights, engaging in a long, time-honored tradition of student protests in order to allow their voices to be heard. And that's something that you would think that purveyors of the First Amendment would support. You know, the Charlie Kirk of it all.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
But then again, we have your treatment of the student protesters with regards to Israel and Gaza to know exactly how partisan your view of this really is. In other words, y'all ain't about
Representatives is representatives from each district in our state. This is why voting on local and state levels are so important. It is so dangerous and upsetting and disgusting that the House of Representatives immediately goes to defunding schools when they don't like what a president or students or whoever is doing at a university. If you think about it that way, we are ranked 48th in education in this state and 43rd in higher education in this state. That is not good. And they immediately go to defunding education because they don't like what people say or do not do or actions that they take. As a politician, first of all, like I've said previously, you should be happy that students are invoking their First Amendment rights and being patriotic and expressing their opinion. And that should be encouraged. Having conversations and things like that and fighting for what you believe in is a good thing. That is never a negative thing. You would think that since we are ranked so low in this state for education that they wouldn't defund a school and make education worse. Because when you take away money, you're taking away resources, textbooks, spaces for students to study and learn, tutoring sessions, and projectors, literally chairs and seats and desks. That's what's happening when you're taking away funding, which means there's less seats open for students. There is less funding to help students get better and help them become more educated. And you would think that our state would really encourage them to not do that because education is so low, but they choose to do that.
Oh, she cooking. Oh, she is cooking. About that, isn't it interesting how these red strongholds seem to be adamant at holding on to the lowest ranked spots when it comes to education? It's almost like that's the plan.
I love the poorly educated.
And if you think about it that way, if they don't like something that a school does, they automatically go to defunding. That is a terrifying thought. That's a terrifying thought for any public school in this state. Technically, they have the legal authority and the right to do that, but as a democracy, that's not very democratic. Being in a democracy means that you have the right to say things, even if you don't agree, they can still say it. Just like I say that white people would never be called a mob, because I know that to be true, and that's what I think, and I think a lot of people think that as well, but I'm still allowed to say that. I'm still allowed to say that. I think if we look at it that way, the House of Representatives is very dangerous for students in South Carolina. Pamela Evette is very dangerous for students in South Carolina. And that is why voting matters. That is why Pamela Evette cannot become our governor. And that is why everyone needs to show up to the polls.
Now, that was absolutely phenomenal. And the last point that she made about how undemocratic all of this is fascinating, because one of the things that they talked about in their explanations, nonsensical though it was, of defunding SC State is talking about indoctrination. And we understand how partisan their view of this is with regards to prior efforts to defund, with regards to prior actual ongoing defunding, with regards to the Trump administration, with regards to their treatment of other protesters, with regards to literally anything that Trump views as dissent. He throws out the low IQ and the radical leftists. And I'm surprised she ain't bring George Soros into this. We understand exactly how partisan all of this is. But here's the interesting thing. And MAGA, I know you don't think about tomorrow. I understand you don't think about tomorrow, but there's a reason why you want to protect certain things on both sides, because you won't always be in power. And you have set some nasty precedents now, haven't you? Oh, we've even seen the levers of the federal government use to punish people on the states. That's right. States' rights is all out the window. Y'all can't even ride with that no more. So if y'all think that actual legitimate opposition to your own misdeeds is indoctrination, imagine what happens when you could be punished for opposing views. All of the things that you have set in motion. Imagine a world where public funds were used to fund an institution that only white people could attend, then apply that same energy to this situation. Can anybody imagine that? That's great. Can anybody imagine public funds used to support an institution only white people could attend? That's crazy. Could you imagine public funds used to support a park that only white people could go to? Or to maintain a pool where only white people could swim? Could you imagine that? That's nuts.
You serious?
They do not want black students representing this university at the Capitol in South Carolina. After a member of Winthrop University's former student government named CSL got into a disagreement over diversity, it was remarked that the black students were hurting the university's reputation. This all happened on the student government's annual trip to the Capitol. This person told that to Gary Simmer, who is like the go-to person between Winthrop and the state. Allegedly, they said, "We don't need another HBCU. We already fund state," in reference to South Carolina State. So Gary went back to Cerna, Sheila, and their media person, Ellen Wilder-Byrd, and was like, "Y'all need to tone this black shit down," essentially. The new plan would be for the official pages that are managed by Sheila and Ellen to start showing more white students, especially males, as the face of the school. Behind closed doors, this was allegedly termed the true face of Winthrop. Secondly, the board wanted to strip CSL's governing power, which apparently had been happening over a period of years, and resulted in the organization losing its ability to approve other student organizations, which basically left them with no major powers. So after CSL was dismantled, Sheila then created a new SGA, which sought to reduce the black representation, with some even alleged of rigged elections. For reference, the student body is 1/3 black, and the student leaders were about 2/3. The question remains, should the university shun the black students for participating?
Now, shout out to all the students over at Winthrop University. Let me get this straight. So we want to pull back funding from South Carolina State University after you've already cut funding from HBCUs from the Biden administration, when you've already threatened to cut funding for other universities for completely different offenses, and you want to minimize the black faces that are on existing campuses, HBCU or not. Yes, the mandate is abundantly clear. And quite frankly, the fact that you would give any justification other than outright racism is the most offensive thing here. It sounds like the students, in fact, had all of the facts. And when it comes to their ability to use their voice, our ability to use our voice, it's not confined to the state of South Carolina.
So now you're going to tell me that Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette is so upset with the students at South Carolina State University using their voice and their collective voices and power and authority to stand up to systematic racism. Now you're going to try to defund South Carolina State University? How does that make sense? So you and your colleagues have gotten together and said, "Oh yeah, so that's we're gonna do a lick back." So that's how you, as a public servant, that's how you act? Time for her to go.
Can you believe that video was censored by TikTok? That video was censored by TikTok. Was it her glasses? Was it the music? I have no idea. That's crazy. And shout out to all my creators that are fleeing TikTok in droves. And that's not the only one.
I can't say that I'm surprised, but I am still disappointed to wake up to the news this morning that multiple South Carolina representatives are calling for SC State University to be defunded since the students did not want Pamela Evette, the DEI queen herself, the one who is now suddenly against DEI, even though she made all of her money off of teaching DEI initiatives to corporations. Yeah, that Pamela.
Wait a minute. Come again?
She made all of her money off of teaching DEI initiatives to corporations. Yeah, that Pamela.
She made her money teaching DEI initiatives? Was this the career journey that she was supposed to be, where they were supposed to be learning about the DEI initiatives that she made her bones on, that she turned her back on and pulled up the ladder on? Is that... Somebody need to tell me something.
That they didn't want her to speak at their commencement ceremony. What's the problem? They're exercising their First Amendment right. But because they're not exercising it for a cause that you deem worthy, it's a problem. Because I guarantee you, if let's say that SC State had found a prominent pro-choice person to come speak at their commencement ceremony and the students protested in the same way, I bet my bottom dollar that these people would be in support of that. But because it's not, it's a problem. And they're talking about how SC State can't keep her safe and all of that. And then if every South Carolinian isn't welcome, then we shouldn't be funding it. They never said she wasn't welcome.
Preach.
They said they didn't want her to speak at their commencement ceremony. They never said she can't come on campus and organize an event where she talks to students. None of that. They just didn't want her there when they have paid tens of thousands of dollars to attend this school, or their parents, or their loans, whatever it is. They just don't want to listen to what she has to say. Not to mention, she is running for governor, and you know good and damn well she is using this as a way to try to pull in more voters. Like, I don't understand what's not clicking. All right, so the letter was signed by Representatives Gatch, Beach, Terabile, Edgerton, Magnuson, McCravey, Oramus, and Forrest. Chairman Bannister, we the undersigned members of the House are deeply concerned about the decision made by South Carolina State University to rescind the invitation to Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette as the speaker at their upcoming commencement ceremony next week. In recent days, we have seen widespread protest on the campus of SC State University. It's university. And that is relevant because I've had people in my own life just call it SC State and refuse to call it a university because they don't think it's real. I digress. Where was I? Due to Lieutenant Governor Evette's political stances, protesters cited her opposition to DEI practices because she's a grifter and made her money off of it, but whatever. Her pro-life record and being a, quote, Trump conservative, among others. It is shameful that a state institution supported by taxpayer dollars would capitulate and rescind an invitation to our sitting lieutenant governor, seemingly because some students do not agree with her political views. Institutions of higher learning are intended to be a space where young adults are presented with a variety of viewpoints and ideas, not center of indoctrination where conservative are not welcome. In announcing their decision to rescind Lieutenant Governor Evette's invitation, the university also explained that there was concerns about safety. It is inexcusable that a commencement speech from the Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina has to be canceled because her safety could not be guaranteed on a state-funded campus. Y'all can't guarantee safety of school children.
Hey, they can't guarantee the safety of nobody. Not even adults walking the streets. Not even Trump. Isn't that right? Oh, we dropped that? We not going with that no more?
By requesting that no funding for South Carolina State University, at least we're calling it a university now, be included in the second version of the budget. There is no reason why state dollars should continue to fund a state institution where not all South Carolinians are welcome. If the Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina is unwelcome due to different political ideologies and an inability to keep her safe, it is time to defund and reevaluate. No, the issue is that old Pamela here was trying to use these students as part of her campaign. Let's be honest. Am I reading into this a little bit? Yeah. But nothing in politics is coincidental or accidental. Either side. I am the most neutral person politically that you probably will find. I find issues with both sides, and I'm so center that neither side will claim me. Now, I will say the Republicans like to name call me. The Democrats don't name call me. They're just like, interesting. But they don't name call me. So for me, it's not political. So save your libtard comments or whatever you have. That's not what this is about. Their statement, that's a direct attack on our First Amendment right.
That's right. Easy target, as in your first target. These are the things they roll out for Black folk first, because they know that the larger population won't care. It's the same things that happened in the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk. HBCUs who couldn't have been more disconnected from it somehow had threats. Easy target, your first target. Well, that I'm sure isn't news to any of you. I'm sure it's not even news to the students, which means I know it's not news to the administration. I'm still waiting on an answer. Whose plan was this?
But wait, there's more.
And I be wanting to talk good about South Carolina. I done spent so much of my life in South Carolina. I spent summers of my childhood in South Carolina. And they just, if it ain't Tim Scott telling another man, I love you.
I just love you. No, that's good.
Or Lindsey Graham going to Disney as a grown man with a bubble wand. South Carolina, come on.